what the pandemic has also exposed, the need to have a more sustainable FDI that can contribute to development, investment, that contribute to job creation, value generation, and retention for local communities, and investment that takes care of environment and social development. This is a must-have. And to join the effort of facilitating sustainable investment, ITC is very pleased to have partnered with the German Development Institute on a project for investment facilitation for development.
We are discussing in WTO what is called a joint initiative on facilitation for investment for development, with the aim to reduce barriers to investment, to reduce or to give more transparency for investors, so investors can know exactly the legal framework and the measures that they will be faced. We are also trying to streamline procedures like authorization, and we are also trying to promote greener or sustainable investment. No? International Trade Center and the DIE, the German Development Institute, have been very active participants in this process, very active supporters of this process, through showing us the experience of what they have been doing with developing countries and least developed countries on investment facilitation measures. They have produced important material and data about what countries are doing and what is feasible for doing. In addition, the role of the International Trade Center and the German Development Institute will be important in the implementation phase. We discussed recently discussed this at the negotiations, how ITC, DIE, and other global actors will be helping developing countries, least developed countries, to implement some, or hopefully most of the measures that we are going to agree in this framework.
There are three insights that emerge from the project. The first one is that negotiations have made good progress, but I think the development dimension requires more attention. In particular, I think the agreement should actually require that investors, international investors, observe responsible business practices in their daily activities. The second observation is that the investment relationship involves not only host countries, but also home countries. And it would therefore be desirable in the interest of investment facilitation if the agreement would also require from home countries to make their investment facilitation transparent, which is particularly important for small and medium-sized enterprises. And thirdly, for developing countries, and in particular least developed countries, to benefit fully from an investment facilitation agreement, they need firm commitments for technical assistance and capacity building.
The first key challenge is to understand what kind of support developing countries need to be able to implement investment facilitation measures. We suggest to conduct needs assessments to better understand the implementation gaps in developing countries as a basis for tailored technical assistance. Second, investment facilitation is different from investment protection and liberalization. It is therefore necessary to insulate a future WTO agreement on investment facilitation for development from the more than 2,000 bilateral investment protection liberalization treaties that are currently in force, and in particular, the investor-state dispute settlement provisions that are part of these agreements. Third, as the investment facilitation for development agreement under negotiation overlaps with some of the existing WTO agreements, in particular the General Agreement on Trade and Services, it is key to ensure complementarity and avoid inconsistencies between these sets of WTO rules.
This toolkit provides a rich set of recommendations and analysis on investment facilitation. It includes lessons from negotiating and implementing relevant World Trade Organization agreements. It also provides an inventory of investment facilitation measures, as well as the proceedings of some 30 stakeholder consultations that were concluded under the ITC DEI project. I think a particular emphasis has also been placed on the development dimension of investment facilitation. This is an angle that has perhaps been less emphasized in the past, and it is very, very important for us to bring in this development dimension going forward. And within the context of what work has been done, this is precisely where we are focusing on. And finally, it is a great source to build capacity of developing and least developed countries to negotiate and implement investment facilitation agreements that can support sustainable development, as it is also a useful tool for policymakers, investment promotion agencies to enhance their offering to attract and retain sustainable investment, which are critical to the post-pandemic era. The work that we have done, or the research that we have done, has shown that this is where also we have the gaps. Any intervention that we have has to be one that is entrenched in sustainable institutions on the ground to make sure that we can see through the results that we expect out of this process.